We're now watching a live video, it says.
Awesome.
You did
Beautiful.
it again.
All right, we're live. Here we go. Morning, everybody, or afternoon. It's early afternoon. Kathy Rossini LaPierre, Laura Campbell.
Hello.
We are LAZA Properties, and right out of Newington. We wanted to check in this week. It's been a little crazy. We did not make an appearance last week due to the holiday. I think everybody was enjoying the fact that the weather was changing, that we were starting to loosen up a little bit in Connecticut, and we figured you were doing other things. You didn't miss us very much. We hope you missed us, but maybe not.
Now it's cold again.
It's unbelievable. It's so crazy. It's trying to dress for this weather is making me nuts. I know you've got your sweater on, and I put on a different top this morning. So we want to talk about a few things going on in town. We want to be visible. We love Newington, and we are trying to do what we can to help out around here. So we want to talk about a few things in town and around town that are coming up and give a little bit of advice to the shoppers that are out there. So starting with the market in Newington, it is still crazy. Laura and I'm grateful to say, are very, very busy. Obviously trying to be as responsible as we can and careful and cautious and respectful of everybody. But Laura actually tried an open house last week. And how did it go?
I did. It was great. Very cautious. We had our hand sanitizers. I stood outside of the property and made sure everyone going in used the hand sanitizer, had masks on. There were no more than 4 people in the house at the same time. And it was very successful. I was pleasantly surprised to have 8 groups come through.
So I think the way things are going with the world starting to open back up, we still have a shortage of listings, and the buyers are coming out in droves. I think I have 13 people on my roster, and they're all at different stages. Some of them are still working with their lenders to make sure they're ready to go. They're shopping online. I've got a couple that are actually in the middle of a transaction that's going to shift directions momentarily. We'll talk about that in a minute. But I think we have to be respectful of our buyers and our sellers' attitudes about what's going on. So I think
comfort level.
Comfort level, that's a better way to put it. So Laura and myself are on the bolder side of the spectrum, I guess. Relatively healthy. We don't have older relatives living with us, and feel like we can get out there safely and be courteous. So for example, the house Laura was showing this weekend was unoccupied. So in that circumstance, you want to get as many people into it as you can. So it was not too big of a task to open the doors and say, come on in and take a look. So talk with your sellers, talk with your buyers. But the fact that you had 5 parties through tells you that people are still out shopping. Oh, 8, I'm sorry, 8. And they still want to come in. People are still looking at houses in person. So again, we're all feeling it out. I welcome some comments on the page and get some feedback from other people in the industry, because I think we're all kind of watching each other and trying to decide how to pace this. And again, I don't care to be disrespectful of anybody else making different decisions, and I'm not really interested in being bashed on Facebook. But I think we're all at different points, and that we have to kind of feel our way through this new environment.
And while we're on the subject of my open house, let's recap from last week. And if you could do those 2 screen shares.
Sure, yes, please.
What happened was I have this adorable cape, and it had orange walls. And from March, we listed March 27th, right after the hit the fan. And we had 20 showings in 2 months. I asked my seller, please paint your walls. And he painted the orange walls, and that's fine. He left the gray, but the orange changed to my favorite, agreeable gray. Yeah. And in a week, we've had 13 showings. So 2 months, it was 20. 1 week, it's been 13, plus the 8 from the open house. So I'm above where I was showing wise. Can you do the next screen?
And everybody asks, okay, hang on, learning how to do this, new share. Okay, let's do that one. Everybody asks what your biggest bang for your buck is when it comes to changes and listings. and it's definitely paint. It's your least expensive investment, and it really impacts how people see this house. Now, granted, we got rid of the deer head, which was a really good idea. Not everybody loved that, but just the difference in a few items, getting rid of this bookcase with all the albums, and Laura put a different piece of furniture in the room.
That had already existed in the house.
Just repositioning.
I brought in a brighter rug.
Yeah.
I brought in a couple of the mantelpieces. The picture above the fireplace was down in the basement. Mm-hmm. So I brought that up, and I brought the light gray chair. So I brought the light gray chair, the light carpet, and just a couple of mantelpieces. And it's just really popped now. So hopefully,
yeah,
it will go under market or under deposit soon.
That's what we're hoping. That's what we're definitely hoping. So, we were talking about listings. It's opening up MLS this morning again. There's still only 31 homes for sale in Newington, and they are from about 150 to 600,000. There is primarily up to about 350 is Newington's general market. That's the mass of the houses we have, is somewhere between 200 and 350. And so there's only 31 houses on the market. The buyers that are out there are ready to see more. And small changes like paint color makes the house so much more appealing. The buyers are really shopping online first. What they see is what they're interested in. Those are the houses they go to see. So talk to us about staging. Talk to us if you're even considering listing. Now is the time to sell your home. There are buyers out there begging for new homes. And one of the things Laura and I were talking about, even though we have an awful lot of experience in real estate, almost 20 years between the two of us, there are still things we encounter that are new. I think that's what I enjoy most about real estate, is every transaction I feel like I walk away with something new that I'm going to do or use next time. And we talked about due diligence. So due diligence is kind of a fancy word for doing your homework. And we want people to be aware. Let me get the piece that I wanted up on the screen. All right, come on, Kath. So doing your homework, and your realtor should be doing some of this for you, but as a buyer, you should definitely be paying attention. And some of the most important things we talk about is hiring a good realtor, making sure you have a home inspection when you're buying, have an appraisal done because the bank is going to tell you it's worth what you're paying for it, looking at any public records that are available to you, and asking questions. Laura had an interesting experience that we actually had a conversation about, and I'll let her tell you about it.
Well, we briefly touched on it. I can't remember at what point it was, but anyway, it doesn't matter. So the home was backing up to a conservation land, and the property did have a fence in the back of the yard, but due to the easement of the conservation land, you could not continue with that fence in your own yard. So unfortunately, my buyers needed to have a fence, and we had to back out of the deal. So had we done that a little bit up front, but if there's a fence in the backyard, why would you think you can't add to it? But anyway, so it's just little things that, if something's very important, look into it.
I think what I'm running into right now with buyers and sellers is inspection stuff and home repairs. And due diligence, I guess the other side of that is when you are listing a home, because we're begging people to put their houses on the market. And you want to make sure that when you make repairs to the home, that you have some receipts for it, that you use licensed contractors, that you have it recorded on the town records.
I was going to say that you pull permits.
Everybody's got an Uncle Frank who does roofing, and you can have it done in the summer, and you're okay with the fact that he's not licensed, but as a homeowner, you can pull a permit. And Laura, you speak to this more than I do because I haven't done it outside of my own personal home, but the homeowner is allowed to pull permits for certain repairs.
Absolutely.
So every town is a little bit different. We can speak to Newington. I feel like I'm best buddies now with the zoning department, the building department downstairs. But with the town halls closed, they are very cooperative and very helpful. If you call and ask about a property that you're interested in, they will open up the file and they will tell you what's in it. They'll give you the dates, what repairs were done, whether it was permitted, opened and closed. Sometimes you run into the fact where a permit was opened and it was never closed out. And sometimes it simply means another visit by the town department, and they'll pay a visit and take a look at everything and say, okay, yeah, it's done correctly. And you want this when you're buying a home because it's protection for you that it was done correctly.
And you want it when you're selling a home so someone doesn't pull out of the deal because you didn't do it correctly, or you didn't have a licensed electrician, rewire your new panel.
I had a home in Newington with aluminum wiring, which was very common, maybe the 50s, 60s. And it was something that was commonly used, and they've determined that it's not so safe anymore. They don't like that. So when they see it in the outlets or on the panels, there's a correction they can make for it. And it's expensive. It's, this house would have been about $1,000 or $1,200, I think. And he has to do it at all the junction points. And my homeowner started taking apart outlets, and I want to say like painting with liquid. I was like, oh my God, you can't do this to me. That's not safe. You can't, and you have to explain to somebody who took care of everything in the house his whole life, don't touch it. That's not going to get us where we need to be. So I feel like sometimes I have to be a jack of all trades. And that's why I love working with you, because I often go to Mike and Laura and ask, hey, what's the right solution to this? What's the most cost-effective solution to this? So a lot of this is going to be, your good real estate agent is going to know a little bit more than just how to turn the key and let you in the house. So, and everyone's a learning process. So I feel like, if I don't have the answers, I'm not going to just BS my way through it. I'm going to go to Mike and Laura or somebody else who's an expert in the area that we're looking at. So today we wanted to talk a little bit about due diligence, about the fact that we are begging for homes in Newington and surrounding towns. So literally, I think I have 13 buyers right now, and they're looking at properties and they're going, there's a reason some of them are lingering on the market, and unfortunately they need some work, they need some love.
Orange walls.
Yeah, and it's a small thing. It's such a stupid thing, because when you and I were growing up, you would walk in and just look at the bones. It's a great house. I don't mind putting in the time, the paint, everything else. Our world got really crazy, and nobody wants to be working on their homes anymore. They want to be able to walk in and relax when they're not working. So the buyers out there are a little bit spoiled, and they've grown up on HGTV, and they want everything to look like that, with agreeable gray and white trim and white kitchens and hardwood floors. So if you're thinking about listing and you want to spend a little bit of money on your home, talk to us. We'll give you some guidance. Definitely the time to put your house on the market if you're thinking about it at all, because we have buyers begging for properties. But due diligence when you're working with buyers. I have a house right now that is we are probably going to back out of, because the seller, unfortunately, is the realtor, and not loving his expectations for what the buyer is looking for doesn't match what we're looking for. So too many issues that were solved by the homeowner himself that need to be addressed. And I have young first-time home buyers who don't have 20 grand to drop into the house. They're shopping in a lower price point. So I would definitely encourage you guys to make sure your agent can save you from wasting your time on a house that probably should be priced differently than it was. So you want a realtor who's going to ask the right questions and knows how to follow the process from the beginning to the end. So due diligence, pay attention, ask questions, pull town
records. Look at the property condition reports. And realtors out there, if you do get inspections done, it is your responsibility to update your property condition report.
Excellent point. I just had a home inspection in Hebron, and the horror stories the septic guy was telling me about doing a septic inspection, the buyer's pulling out, the house going back on the market, and a second person asking him to do a home inspection. And then he says, well, I just did that. The report should be there. And no, the agent didn't say anything about that. That's illegal. That would be grounds for you being penalized or losing your license. So, and not in this particular instance, not the house I'm talking about. I'm not slandering any agent out there, but it was other stories that he's encountered with agents in the past. And that's not okay. If, you know, if you've come across stuff, it has to be updated. So I actually just had turnaround time too quick, and we are dealing with home inspections on my house on Main Street. And so we're going through the inspections right now, and we're going to have to, you know, we've shared the things that were found in the first inspection that, you know, we verbalized and said, these are the issues, this is why, you know, and we couldn't see eye to eye on the repairs for them. So we're going to see, we have another home inspection on Thursday. So anyways, those are the things we're dealing with right now. Some information to share for buyers, for sellers. We like talking with you guys, but this week has just been insane. So I feel like we're kind of throwing a whole bunch of stuff at you, but that's a good sign for the markets. There are people buying, there are people shopping. And
in the future, we want to get out again and start supporting our community as things open up a bit.
We enjoyed that very, very much. We only got a couple in before everything really shut down. And the businesses are opening back up, and we want very much to support our community. We've actually had a few people reach out to us. I have several that have asked if we would come talk with them. So I think we're okay going back out and doing that. If people are out doing business, I don't really have a big problem with going out and being in the businesses. So of course it'll be with masks and social distancing, no hugs, no handshakes. But I know it's tough not to do that. I still feel like I'm being rude when I don't do that. So, you know, we're looking for a little bit of feedback. What's everybody's comfort level? You know, are you guys going out and eating in the restaurants? Are you going out and participating? I know soon they're going to be opening even more things back up, and we'll see what they look like. Anybody want to join us or have us stop in your business, reach out and shoot us a message. I think we would make a list and we can start doing that. I don't know if we're going to do it during the day or in the evenings and then post during the day. We'll have to figure out how we want to do that. I guess it depends on the business. But we're rooting for our town, and we'd like to see you out there. Oh, and the 13th, we're going to be in the parade. We're going to be in the car parade, the classic car show. Can't wait for that. That is going to be also to support the Newington businesses, and watch for Laura and I. She's got a wicked cool El Camino. So
1970, black and silver.
I love it.
Hot pink pinstripes.
So we're getting our t-shirts made, and we're looking forward to participating with the Newington Chamber and being in the car parade. So look for us, wave at us. I don't think we're allowed to hand anything out yet. I'm going to ask one more time, but we'll see if we got any swag to give away, but I don't think we're allowed to yet. So hope everybody's hanging in there. We're looking forward to seeing people. Ask us any questions, send us notes on Facebook, and we'll get back to you as soon as we see it. And hope everybody's good, and we'll talk to you next week. See you later.
Have a good day.